Okay, good morning, everybody. We are top of the hour, 10 o'clock, and thank you very much for joining me again on one of these webinars. My name's Tim Guest, and I run Consulting 51, business management consultancy, leadership mentoring, non-exec director services. And today the webinar that we're doing is on positive mindset and goal setting. I have done a number of these webinars over the summer. You'll see that I actually did a webinar with Ollie before on teamwork when times are tough. Well, here we are, times are tough again. We came out of lockdown 1 thinking, yeah, that's it, enjoy the rest of the summer. And now here we are struggling again in lockdown 2, except the nights are darker and it's colder and it's raining. What I want to start with before I hand over to Ollie is why I'm doing the webinar and why I want to share this with you and share something a little bit unusual for me, because those of you who've worked with me who know me, I don't normally talk about myself. I like to ask people questions. I like to ask about them and find out how they're doing. But I'm going to talk about myself this morning, just for a little bit. I want to talk about some of my experiences over lockdown and how I struggled with positivity and with a positive mindset. And even up until this weekend, I actually thought about cancelling this webinar because of a family bereavement. Times were not easy, but as someone said to me, it's very easy to be positive when there's got nothing to be negative about. And I think that's certainly the situation we find ourselves in. Fred Stake from Brindies, who's kindly helped me sponsor this event, tailored B2B sales training. There will be a link to Fred's website in some of the follow-up emails. So let me just talk about my story. We went into lockdown 1 in March, and it was homeschooling, trying to work sort of dropped off a cliff for a lot of people because the world was in kind of shock. We'd never had this scenario before. My dog died as well. Dog died, 15-year-old family dog. And the biggest thing I had to deal with was being diagnosed with a tumor in my head, non-cancerous tumor. But you hear the word tumor and head. The same day I was diagnosed was the day that a good friend of mine died of a brain tumor. So my mind was kind of going a little bit of overdrive. Really. I've always been a very positive person, always turning negatives into positives, using my mind when I'm doing ultra distance events and all that sort of thing, just to be positive. But over the summer, I really struggled. And anyone who's struggled with their positivity in their mind will know this, that I just felt like it was sort of easier just to sort of almost give up, fall into that sort of pit of negativity. Over the summer, I was drinking more, like a lot of people were. I wasn't an alcoholic by any means. I was a functioning parent and working absolutely fine. But it certainly didn't do any good. And I found myself just dwelling on the negatives of 2020. And let's face it, there are quite a lot of them. Because of the coronavirus situation, I couldn't have my tumor operated on for 3 months. So I had 3 months with this literally in the back of my mind. Finally, I had a surgery date, which was 13th of August. I hadn't really prepared myself for it. I hadn't watched the videos the consultant sent to me, and I hadn't really prepared myself for the fact that someone was going to go up my nose and drill into my head and remove something over a centimetre big, and the impact that was going to have on me. I wasn't very positive going into it, if I'm honest with you, and sort of lying in the hospital bed in the afternoon, feeling shit, things coming out of me, machines and stuff. I started to go really, really negative, and looking at the clock on the wall, head was pounding, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then something strange happened. It was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't remember which, and I sort of looking at the wall, hadn't really slept. I had some manky tuna sandwich on the side of the table, and all of a sudden I got this sort of rush of positivity and thought, what the fuck are you talking about? Yes, it's been a bad year, but you've sold a business just before a pandemic. Your dogs died, fine, but you had 15 years of them, and now you're going to get some kittens. You've got 2 lovely, healthy children. You've got a lovely wife. You've got decent prospects of work to look forward to, a whole host of friends who care about you and family who love you. I'm thinking, I haven't really got anything to be negative about. And something happened to me, something changed, and I took I took 2 weeks to fully recover. Didn't work at all, didn't open my emails, gave my brain some space. And what I want to share with you is a few of my tips. I'm by no means an expert on positivity and positive mindset. That's why I'm working with Ollie. My tips, and certainly what I do to stay positive, let's start at the top. Stop watching the news. When has the news ever had anything positive on it at all? Well, apart from at the weekend, possibly, if you look at the American election. But normally speaking, bad news sells. You look at the front of any tabloid newspaper, it's bad news. I used to wake up in the morning and open my phone, check the news, check the Brexit news, check the coronavirus news. It's no good. It's negative. It puts you in a negative mindset. Certainly, it's not a good way to start the day. Of course, we need news. I need news. I tailor my Google News feed to give me news that I want to see: financial technology, digital transformation, all the stuff that I need for my work. Don't read the news. Don't read the daily coronavirus update and all that sort of thing. Don't start the day with your phone. Again, I used to keep my phone next to my bed. I used to look at my WhatsApp messages, open my work emails. Again, how often do you get a positive work email? Well done, you've done a great job. No, you never normally get them. And if you're someone like me, I work with people in the States and also in China. I can have emails at any time of the day or night. Don't start your day with your work emails. Set yourself up a morning routine. I learned this from Ollie. I don't have a fixed morning routine because I have so many variables in my life that a fixed morning routine would be difficult to do. I have a wife, children, and cats, but I have a flexible morning routine. So every morning there's a certain process that I will follow regardless of the time of day, and it doesn't include phone and emails. Plan for tomorrow the night before. Even if you don't have a lot to do, write yourself a to-do list. Do it on the computer if you want. I actually like the physical effect of ticking something off. Scientists have proved that ticking things off a list releases dopamine in your brain, which can actually make you feel more positive. Actually, it makes you feel like you've achieved something in the day as well. Allow yourself time for thinking. This is one of the biggest eye-openers I found, taking time off the treadmill when I was recovering. My brain actually had space to think and create new ideas. I never had that before. I'd wake up and I get straight into the day. I've got this book here now, an ideas book. I use colored pens. I give myself 40 minutes every morning. Computer's not turned on, and I'm working on ideas, developing ideas, actually thinking about things that I want to do. Stop scrolling, start learning. If you're on furlough, if your work's decreased, if you have spare time. How many people do or know people who sit there scrolling through their phone? Oh, look, Sheila and John, they escaped lockdown and gone to Antigua. Lucky buggers. Oh, look, Karen and Nick's kids, aren't they good, sitting there doing all their homework whilst mine are tearing the house apart? It doesn't do you any good. So have a look for online courses. There's loads of free online courses. I sign up to Coursera, pay £7 a month, and you can do anything from a 20-minute or an hour-long course in photo editing to an MBA. Do something with your time. Stop scrolling aimlessly through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Another thing that I think Ollie is a big advocate of is the daily gratitude. I've had some bad news last week. Unfortunately, a close family member passed away after 3 months in hospital with a non-COVID condition. It's been tough the last few weeks, but every single day we have positives. Sit down, write them down, and think about them, because that puts your mind in a positive frame. And the last thing before I hand over to Ollie is set yourself some achievable goals, because achieving goals makes you feel good. Don't say, I'm going to run 100 miles in 3 months' time, because it probably won't happen. Might do. And there's a couple of guys on the call I know that can do that. My gym is closed like everyone else's. I'm pissed off because I love going to the gym. I go 4 or 5 times a week, but I thought, gym's closed. That means I can focus on my running. Here's a goal. Here's a time I want to be in a 5-mile run in 4 weeks' time. And that's the goal I'm going to work to. So it's turning the negatives into positives and setting yourself some small achievable goals. So I hope my sort of amateur positivity tips are of some use to you. I want to hand over to Mr. Ollie Ollerton, who I've worked with before and got excellent feedback on. So I have no doubt you're going to have a very useful session today. Ollie's got a huge bio. I'm going to read out some bullet points. Ollie embarked on Operation Desert Storm in Iraq, completed the SAS Special Forces selection process. Out of many people, he was one of the ones to actually be selected. Qualified as a Special Forces combat frogman. Qualified as a submersible dive vessel pilot. And if he shows you the picture, that looks awesome fun. He was one of the directing staff on Channel 4's SAS Who Dares Win since 2015. He published the Sunday Times bestseller Breakpoint in 2019. Published the Sunday Times bestseller Battle Ready early 2020. He founded the fitness app Battle Ready 360, founded the supplement brand Battle Ready Fuel, founded the corporate training program Breakpoint. And that is just a few of this man's achievements. So you are in good hands for a positivity mindset. So let me maximize Ollie. Thank you for listening to me. Ollie, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Tim. Can we just make sure we've got, is the audio okay? Is that good? Because I've changed to headphones.
The audio is fine for me.
Okay, great stuff. All right. Hello, everyone. And thank you for that introduction there, Tim. I'll tell you what, mate, after everything you've been through this year, you certainly look extremely healthy. I think I'd look a proper state if I'd been through what you've been through. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people out there that have got similar type of stories. So one thing I admire about Tim, and what I love working with Tim, is the fact that we share the same kind of views, the same kind of ethos. And it's a real pleasure to come onto this webinar and to be able to put my thoughts that are based on experience across to an audience where I do feel that it's going to be absorbed and also implemented. And I can promise you that if you do the things that I ask you to do today, you will not only increase your personal mindset, you will increase your productivity, your creativity, your relationships, everything. So really, if that's not a selling point on its own, I don't know what is. But honestly, this stuff comes from experience, like I say. And a lot of the stuff I teach, it comes from making mistakes. You know, my books are really about reflection of making mistakes and how I've learned from that. And that's really how you do learn. So anyway, without further ado, I'm a former UK Special Forces soldier. Tim sort of gave a bit of a background of what I've achieved over that time. And I've had an interesting life, a very interesting life, and learned a lot of great things along the way. When I came back to the UK, which I never said I'd do in 2014, the end of 2014, I put myself into what I call now the Battle Ready Boot Camp. And that was, I isolated myself in a house down in Cornwall. There was a spare house, fortunately, at that time in my family. And I put myself away and just focused on me, okay? There were some changes I needed to make. And I needed no distractions, no media, no outside influence, distracting that sort of positive discipline. And really, that's what I want to talk to you about today, because we've talked about teamwork. You know, a lot of talks I get all about teamwork, leadership, That's great, yeah. But everything I advise people to do, look at yourself, be selfish, invest in yourself. Because I tell you what, until I invested in me, I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. I was in a repeat habit loop, which was repeating negative habits, which was just stopping me from growing and actually getting anywhere in life. And that was the point I said, stop. And it was everything was about me at that point. And really, you know, I know this is a bit of a cliche to some, but some people haven't heard it. You know, there's a reason on an aircraft why they say, you know, if in an emergency, if the gas mask drops, make sure that you look after yourself before anyone else. And the reason for that is simply because we have to make sure our foundation has a good root structure because unless we have, we can't help anyone else. We can't be that positive arm of guidance. We can't be that person unless we come from a very solid foundation. And also at the moment, you know, this is the time, you know, second lockdown. And like Tim said, you know, it was nice weather last time, and now we're sort of going into the back end of the year. We've got the pressure of Christmas and everything. So really, you know, to start introducing, as Tim sort of touched on it there, start introducing some kind of a routine into your day to really start to build those positive emotions will really, but not only benefit you, benefit everything around you and all the people around you. So my next slide there is obviously the one Tim referred to. You know, everyone will know me from SAS Who Dares Wins, and also, you know, relate. If anyone sees a picture of me, they'll say it's that ex-Special Forces soldier guy. You know, I did some great stuff in the military. This is the mini sub I was a pilot of. You know, combat frogman, helicopters, submarines. I mean, it's everyone's dream, isn't it? Right? Look. I did a great thing there, but it was a long time ago, and I've done a lot since then. You know, I don't consider that my benchmark of achievement, because my biggest achievement is still ahead of me. And that's the way I consider life. You know, I don't look back in my rearview mirror and think, yeah, I've done great, and now let's rest on my laurels. I still haven't achieved my greatest thing, and I don't even know what that is yet. I still keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So I now run operate and own a company called Breakpoint, plus a few other companies. But this one, it really is something that's very special to me, because in that time where I was broken, I came back in 2014-15. This was my dream. It was my dream. I had absolutely nothing. I'd been all around the world fighting in war zones, and I came back and I said, right, this is what I want to do. I want to create a company. And our mission statement is to create a globally identified brand recognized for the positive growth and development of others. You know, our whole focus and aim is to help people create more fulfilling, happier lives, more productive, and live a longer and happier life. Now, really, let's talk about Breakpoint, because coming from the Special Forces, people probably think, oh, they break people. We don't. It's quite the opposite. Breakpoint is the moment you decide nothing will stand between you and your goals, okay? It's that moment, that sliding doors moment we all have when we have an opportunity. But really, you know, to take that opportunity, we have to step into the short-term discomfort for long-term gain. And that is the same with everything we want to do in life. Whenever we want to make any kind of changes, anything in life, it takes that element of pushing through that short-term discomfort to get to the long-term benefit. Okay, and unfortunately, we're going to go into this as well, really into the psychology of it today in the next slide. But really, you know, the way that we're wired to take the short-term comfort, which leads to long-term pain. Now, that can be your relationships, that can be your relationship with alcohol, that can be your work, it can be a whole manner of things. Okay, and really, you know, if you get this ethos right at the lowest level, taking care of the small things, you know, squaring your stuff away every day, making your bed in the morning, making sure the dishes are away at night so you haven't got to wake up to a mess in the morning. If you take care of the small stuff, believe me, the big stuff takes care of itself. So you don't have to go to a war zone. You don't have to be attacked by a chimpanzee, as happened to me when I was 10. That's another story. You just have to take care of the small stuff, okay? Push through the short-term discomfort, and it is only short-term, and to get the long-term benefit. Now, when I came back, I'm going to go deep now. We're going to do a deep dive, okay? Now, I don't consider myself a psychologist, far from it, but I have experience where I came back and I saw myself as this guy that had achieved greatness at some point. This is the time I did reflect back, and it did me the world of good to do so. I'd achieved Special Forces as a Special Forces operator. I was stood with the best of the best. I was the top of my game. 10 years later, I was an absolute mess. I had a very bad problem with alcohol. It didn't control my life, you know, from the outside looking in. People couldn't see that I wasn't an alcoholic per se, you know, as your stereotypical version of one, but I was heavily dependent on alcohol, Valium, all kinds of cocktail of stuff, and I was an absolute mess. And it was really in that contradiction of two. It was. I suppose, yeah, it's a contradiction of who I was. I was like looking at this level of greatness, hero, if you want to call it that. And there I was, 0. And it really made me think, what is going on here? And it made me understand that people seem to think that people that achieve great things are cut from a different cloth. You know, that it's not true. It's not true. And that transition from greatness to actually broken made me understand that, you know, we're all born the same. I bleed and breathe like everyone, just like everyone else. And we have to basically maintain our mindset and put in practices that make sure that we stay on top of the game. So everything I'm going to talk about is pointing towards that today. Right, for me, you know, the greatest discovery for me wasn't the moon or whatever or anything. Maybe this is more personal. Our greatest discovery is the ability to identify with our own human dysfunction. All right, I'm going to talk through a few things, how what that means to me. I've mentioned this before, the habit loop. Okay, let me explain this. Okay, we are all victims of habit. We all fall into this repeat habit loop. And let me, you know, the reason that is because as far as our minds are concerned, when it comes to human evolution, and that is the one driving force in every one of us, whether we know it or not, it's a subconscious thing. Our one thing is our drive forward, is our survival blueprint, our evolution of the species. Okay, it's the same with every animal, every species. It's the same thing. Okay, so that means basically our minds want us to keep doing what we did yesterday and the day before and the day before that, because as far as our minds are concerned, that has kept us alive until today. It does not care if it's a good situation or a bad situation. It makes you happy or not. It just knows it's kept you alive till today. So it wants to keep repeating everything that you've done yesterday because it knows it's kept you alive until today. Okay, so that is why when it comes to making any changes in our life, when we want to start doing something we haven't done before, unless we take action on that goal very quickly, the honeymoon period ends very quickly. Okay, and before you know it, your mind has sabotaged any movement in the direction of achieving anything. So really, we are in that repeat habit loop. And that's why I talk everything about breakpoint. It's about pushing through that short-term discomfort, which leads to long-term gain. But you can't push through that short-term discomfort unless you have a goal that is pulling you through that. And that goal has to overwhelm your current circumstances. Okay? Secondly, default negativity. We are wired negatively. Okay? It's fact. So everyone that thinks, and I used to think it as well, used to sit there and think, Jesus, you know, I'm so unmotivated. I'm so negative. You know, and I thought for a moment, it's me, I'm cursed. You know, there's something wrong with me. Everyone is the same. It's just human nature to be wired negatively. Everyone can relate to that. They can relate to the fact whenever they come up with something new relating to the previous topic, whenever we come up with something new, okay, we're always looking for what could go wrong with it. And that's the thing that then enforces us not to go ahead with it. You know, if you look at cavemen, for instance, 15,000 years ago, okay, we were still hunting and being hunted for food, okay? Caveman used to come out of his cave. He didn't used to look around and go, wow, it's going to be an amazing day full of opportunity. He came out going, shit, where's that tiger? What's going to kill me today? That is still the primal drive or the primal heartbeat of who we are today. Technology is flying past us, but we have still got that primal instinct. We live in a state, or we absolutely welcome fear over positivity. Okay, so just accept, yes, we are negative, but as soon as you start to appreciate that and work with it and don't deny it, okay, accept, appreciate, and then move forward. Okay, so it's really about understanding that you're not cursed. Everyone feels negative. And we're going to talk about this in a moment, about the brainwashing, the positive brainwashing we have to do to actually overcome the negative. Shortcut syndrome. Okay. People, this really relates to the fact that everyone wants to achieve the goal, but they don't want to do the work to get there. It's like me, I've got a surf van, looks dead cool. I've got 2 surfboards. I can't surf. I can't surf. But And the reason for that is because I don't want to do the hard. I don't want to look stupid to achieve my goal. Okay. Now the fact of the matter is, it's not that goal for me is not really higher up enough of my priorities for me to really push forward with that. But you know, we all, as an analogy, we all want to do the least amount of work and get the big result at the end. It doesn't work like that. A lot of people are really mistaking efficiency for laziness. Okay, so really, you know, to get anywhere in life, you do have to dot the I's, you do have to cross the T's, and the more you put into that, and the more you try and avoid taking the shortcuts all the time, the more on track you get towards reaching your goals. It's not all bad news. Okay, I believe, and this is fact as far as I'm concerned, we all have an amazing gift. All of us, every single person in this world has an amazing gift. And that is to achieve the lifestyle that they want and deserve. Our lives are a product of our imagination, and it really comes down to how we look at life, how we think. If you wonder how you think, look at the life around you. That's exactly how you think, okay? And if you're not happy with that, you need to make some changes. Okay. So let's talk about what holds us back from our dreams and our goals. A lot of things, but first of all, procrastination. Okay, it's that one thing that, you know, all of a sudden, and this is our devious mind. Okay, this falls into everything I'm saying. This is our mind's way of avoiding any kind of possible stress, any kind of possible discomfort, and we're trying to avoid possibly looking stupid. Our ego comes in there as well, and we don't want to look stupid. We only want to do things that we know we can achieve, and it makes for a really bit of a flat life, to be quite honest. So procrastination, limiting beliefs. This is a big one because we all suffer from it, and I know I certainly did for a long time. I still do these days, and I have to work through that. Okay, limiting beliefs can be, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, you know, all that would happen to me. All these kind of messages. This is basically, and unfortunately, from the programming we've had since birth into the education system and where we are today, from our parents, from our schooling, everything. Look at some of that messaging that you used to hear. It does not serve you whatsoever. So basically, limiting beliefs are negative beliefs, okay? And they really do stop you moving forward with anything you want to achieve, and really, really support that self-doubt, which I think is another point on here. Hesitation. Hesitation basically sends a message to your mind that there's something to be cautious about and not to step forward, okay? And again, that comes into change. Anything you look to change, it's about understanding, of course, you're going to feel hesitant. Of course, you're not going to welcome change, but you need to push through. If it's aligned with a goal and you know it's in a positive direction, take that step. Take that step and don't allow, well, I'll say that on the last part after I've gone through this, but the last point there is self-doubt, all right? Self-doubt kills more dreams than anything I know of, okay? And that really is enforced by all of those aspects above, okay? Self-doubt tells you that you're not, again, that falls into limiting beliefs. So really what it is, when you come up with a goal, a specific goal, something you want to achieve, you have to take action. Okay, you have to take action, because the longer you leave it, any one of these will step in and sabotage anything you want to achieve. Okay, you have around about 5 seconds to take positive action. Okay, before your mind will start looking for reasons not to do, not to move forward. Okay, and that becomes contagious. Before you know it, you've gone back into your comfort zone and you're not achieving anything whatsoever. Okay. Last one there as well. Sorry, fear. Fear. The interesting fact about fear, okay, when you have anything that upsets you, when you have anything that is a threat to you, your pupils dilate. It's almost like what happens is, it's almost like looking through a phone on portrait as opposed to landscape. You will focus only on the thing that is causing you that fear, only on that thing that is causing a threat, only on that thing that is upsetting you, and the rest of the world becomes a blur, okay? In that moment, you can't be creative, you can't be productive, because you're basically, your system is in a state of survival, okay? So if you're constantly in that, have that fear, you know, running through your system, and that's a lot of what's going on at the moment. If you do listen to the media, if you do read papers, you know, it's instilling fear into society. That is basically going to stop you from achieving anything, okay? Because you basically, your vision is so channeled that you can't look for the opportunities. You're just concentrating on the threat and all the things that are upsetting you, okay? Just something to bear in mind. Right, the ability to stay calm under immense pressure is within us all. Now, what I've got here is a picture, and I've used this picture because it really typifies what this means to me. This is when you're stacking up on a door, yeah? Special Forces operators here. And I can't really, I haven't had any experience in my life that creates as much anxiety as what goes on here, all right? You're going up to a door, okay? Stealth is the key. You get to the door, you have no idea what's behind it, right? No idea whatsoever. You could be walking into an IED, a booby trap. You could be walking into a load of bullets. You have no idea, okay? So the anxiety at that point, you get to the door and you wait till everyone's stacked up, okay? Weapons on the door, and then you wait for the squeeze to come forward. When the squeeze comes forward, doorman opens, you all go in, okay? Now, in that moment, there is so much anxiety building up. And if you can't control that anxiety and can't control your emotions, you very quickly go into a flat spin, okay? Now, Special Forces do teach this method in some countries all over the world, but I just want to go through it. This is, I broke this down into basically what happens. Now, when you're in an extremely stressful situation, a number of things happen. First of all, cortisol increases, okay? Now, our minds can only handle 5 to 9 pieces of information at any one time. When we stress, that goes to 1 to 2, okay? 1 to 2. All right, so basically, and when that happens, cortisol increases, you become confused. You want to take the shortcut syndrome, immediately just to get out of there. And 9 times out of 10, in that state, you're going to run into further danger or into a bad situation because you haven't got clarity. Okay, the way to alleviate it, and what they do in some countries, like I said, in Special Forces, and they do it in yoga, etc., it's simple breathing, okay? They teach box breathing. Box breathing is simply this. You breathe in for 4 seconds. You hold for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 4 seconds. You hold for 4 seconds. And you carry on that box breathing and keep a regular pattern of breathing. So these guys walking into there will have a controlled breathing pattern. That keeps cortisol levels down, allows you to recalibrate. That recalibration is when you can allow your mind to focus on more things than 1 to 2. It's getting rid of all the clag. It's like a triage, okay? The things that you can't control, get rid of it. Fear, everything. It allows you to focus on the job at hand, and that is recalibration. Okay, once you've done that, you then have a mindset of clarity and not confusion to be able to do the job at hand. Okay, and that's when you can go through the door. Now, that sounds an extreme circumstance, but you can use this in your everyday. Okay, a lot of people are feeling anxious. A lot of people have problems with anxiety, and it really does come down to our breathing. Okay, another way to alleviate, if you feel yourself becoming extremely anxious, you take 3 breaths and then 1 long breath out. That will immediately balance your mind and your body. You do that 3 times over, you're in a much more stable state. So breathing is really important, really important. What I want to talk about now is positive affirmations, because when we're feeling negative, and I still do, you know, I'm not perfect by any, well, I wouldn't even call it that. You know, I'm human. I appreciate that. So when I'm feeling fear, you know, when I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, which I did this morning, and I don't want to get out of bed, you know, it's really important that I have a positive affirmation that really deletes or whitewashes over that negative thought that comes into my mind. and lets me continue on my day. Now, there's loads of positive affirmations, but really what it is, and I've got an explanation here. Positive affirmations are the language of the brain, particularly important when negativity strikes. They uplift and encourage the individual to take positive action. Here's an example. This is one that I use in the mornings. I'm so happy and grateful I have the discipline to invest in myself daily. Now, as soon as I say that, my mind stops me from wanting to get back into bed and knows that the practices, which is my morning routine, are going to put me right on track to be the best version of myself and take myself to the day. Okay? This is really, at the end of the day, this is brainwashing that negativity. Okay? This is subconscious language. All right? So basically, we want to brainwash the negativity every day. And as soon as a negative thought comes in, bang, you hit it with a positive affirmation. Listen, I just want to say as well, this talk today is a call to action. All right? I'm going to provide Tim with all the slides. So it'll be a visual reminder of the stuff we've talked about today. Hopefully it's recorded. If it's not, you've got the slides. And I've also got a gift for you at the end of this as well. So positive affirmation is extremely important. And all this stuff I talk about as well, if you want to look for resources, if you go to Google anywhere, there's so many resources of how to put this stuff together. Okay, I just want to talk through my morning routine because like Tim said, morning routine for me was a game changer and certainly has been. And you don't have to do exactly what I do, but this is about taking yourself to the day every day. If you're the type of person, and it's easy done these days, that is banging on the snooze button all morning until the last moment when you have to get up, the day is going to walk all over you, okay? So this is about when you get up on your terms, you're in control, you take yourself to the day. And this is everything I'm talking about, right? This is about you being selfish, giving yourself something, because the return on investment when you do that is phenomenal, all right? So my morning routine, I get up at 5 o'clock. Okay, again, like I said, I don't want to get out of bed. You know, it's quite easy for me to actually lay there in bed. But 5 seconds, get out of bed. Okay, the longer I sit and start thinking about it, my mind will enforce 100 reasons why I should stay in bed. Okay, rise up. For me, straight downstairs, I'll have a cleansing drink. Now, it's a cocktail of stuff for me, and I'm not going to go into it. But one thing I recommend is don't reach for the coffee. Don't reach for anything with caffeine in it. Okay, for me, that is warm water and organic lemon. Okay. Your body has been fasting for 8 hours thereabouts, okay? The last thing you want to be doing is putting poison into your body. I drink coffee. I'll tell you now, people think coffee gives you energy. It doesn't give you energy. That's your body fighting the poison of the caffeine going into your body. So that gives you an energy lift, okay? So really, when I see people reaching for the coffee first thing every morning, I just think, wow, you know, you really, that's not what your body wants. It doesn't nourish your body whatsoever. So I have a cleansing drink. 5:15, I'm ready for meditation, okay? Meditation for me is my focused attention at my intentions. It's for me to sit down in the morning, 25 minutes, I'll do a guided meditation. There's loads of them on YouTube, okay? Meditation for abundance, meditation for positivity, meditation for anything. You just got to type it in and find it. 25 minutes, I sit there with headphones on. And for me, it's for me to really get some clarity. Our heads have about 70,000 to 100,000 thoughts going around every day. Some people a lot less. But anyway, 70,000 to 100,000 thoughts. If you don't choose to align with some positive things that you want in your life, you will end up with a load of negativity and a situation that you don't want. Remember, we're negatively geared, all right? So a lot of the stuff that goes on in that head of ours is negative. And it's really, for me, that meditation is defining what I want out of my life. My short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, okay? Really gives me clarity and a game changer, like I say. 6 o'clock, exercise, okay? Most mornings I take Murphy out, my dog, and I go for a run, okay? You don't have to go for a run. If you don't usually exercise, just simply going for a walk, okay? Doing something around the house. Whatever it is, just take that time to get the cardiovascular system a little bit, you know, give it a bit of a push. And I tell you what, you'll feel the endorphins will flow. You will feel amazing. Exercise is massively important. And I've got a little gift for you at the end of this. By 7 o'clock, I'm in my office. There's no distractions. My phone's not going off. I am actually adding traction to my day. So emails, where I want some movement, where I want people to take action on stuff, I'm pushing those emails out from 7 o'clock. Phone's not going off. WhatsApp's not going off. Social media, the phone, it's not there, okay? For me, that is my power time to really push some stuff out there and let it come back in throughout the day. And it really gives that day momentum. But between 7 and 8 o'clock, I'm on email. Sometimes it's a lot shorter. And by that time as well, I have a coffee. One thing I'd like to add, and it enforces what Tim said as well, my phone isn't on until that point. Okay, my phone does not get switched on. The last thing you want is a bad email. I don't know if you're hooked on Instagram like the majority of the world is. You get someone that doesn't like the fact that, you know, your post or makes a negative comment, ruins your day. Ruins your day. Don't turn your phone on. It will break your connection. 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, attack plan, goals, accountability. Okay. So that's really me structuring my day, what I want to achieve that day, that week. Okay. And accountability as well. With my partner, my fiance, we work in the same business together. We tell each other what we're going to achieve that day. It's so much better than not telling anyone anything. You know, again, how we were programmed as kids. Or if you want to, don't tell anyone your secrets, you'll jinx it. It's a load of rubbish because you're quite happy letting yourself down, aren't you? As soon as you tell anyone, it's like when you put your fitness goals on Instagram or I'm going to do etc. on Facebook, you're accountable, okay? So if you can find someone that makes you accountable, it's a lot harder to let them down than it is yourself. By 8:30, I call it RFB. I know it's a bit, extreme, but just imagine the world I come from. Sorry, I'm just going to have to plug in my computer. Sorry. Low battery warning there. Prior preparation and all that. So ready for domination. By that time, by 8:30, I've invested in myself. I don't care what happens. Well, I do care what happens that day. But if something does go negative that day, I've already won. Okay? If I have a terrible day...
Hello, Ollie, can I just stop you there a moment? I think something's happened to your sound when you mess with the computer.
Hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can now, yep.
Mate, I've had to take the earphones out, so is that okay?
That's a lot better now, yep.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. So anyway, 8:30, I'm then ready for domination. I know it sounds a bit extreme, but just appreciate the world I come from. But I am. You know, I can take myself to the day, and anything that gets thrown at me, I can deal with. Right, goal setting. That's a big part of this session here today. And again, I'm going to give you something at the end of this which really focuses on not just the goals, but also everything we talked about today. Goal setting. Let me just say that there's two types of people. Think there's two types of people in this world. There's people that have goals and people that don't have goals. Now, every single person in the world has goals. Our subconscious minds are a goal-striving, goal-getting machine that will stop at nothing until it achieves what your dominant thoughts focus on, okay? So really, it's about having that chosen goal of something you want to achieve. It's so important, okay? And a vision without a goal is merely an illusion, okay? That basically means you can have all these great ideas of what you want to achieve, unless you put it into process, unless you follow a strict regime, which is void of what's going on in here, okay, you will not achieve it, okay? It will just be merely, as it says, an illusion. Okay, I'm going to go through these as well, just to give you a bit of structure around that. A dream with a date becomes a goal. Now, once you come up with a dream, something you want to achieve, whatever it is, make sure you put a date on it, okay? 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, make sure you put a date on it. Because without a date, it could be 1,000 years until you achieve it. The universe has no idea, okay? So it's really about having a date that draws you to that date, okay? Extremely important. A goal broken down becomes a plan. That really means that, look at the quote behind me. Nothing was ever great unless at some point you doubted your ability to achieve it. What does that mean? Your goal should scare the shit out of you. We are wired to actually want to do goals or achieve things that we know can be achieved. Someone else has done, and we know there's a minimal chance of us looking stupid and failing. Okay? And that's why people find it really hard to push outside of their self-limiting beliefs. Okay, so every goal should be something that you go, well, you know, you doubt that you could achieve it. But the beauty of it is you can break it down. It's like, let's say, for instance, as an example, London Marathon. Say I've never run ever in my life. Okay, I want to run the London Marathon next year. Wow, that is overwhelming. That scares me. Okay, but hold on. This week, I know I can run 2Ks. The week after, I know I can run 3Ks, and so on and so on. It has to be able to be broken down. And once you reach every one of those milestones, the milestones of growth. A plan backed by discipline and process becomes reality. Okay? You have to be disciplined. Your mind is going to be lack motivation. Okay? No one, I don't care who they are, an astronaut, a gold medalist, whoever, a special forces soldier, is not consistently motivated. Okay, you are going to feel, you know, some days that you just don't want to do things. I know I do, but I know that if I follow a process, I know I've got to do it if I want to achieve that goal. Regardless of what's going on here, I follow the process. And you also feel amazing as well once you've actually pushed through that negativity. All right, so what I've got here today, I've got Ollie's 10 Commandments, all right? Like I said, this is a call to action, okay? This isn't really just a tick box for you to say, that was interesting, that was Ollie off the telly. Everything I do is about really getting people to take action on what I talk about. So I'm going to talk about my 10 Commandments. First of all, I want you to establish a morning routine, whatever that is. Like Tim has no structured morning routine, but he has one, okay? He takes himself to the day. Okay, it doesn't have to be disciplined like mine. It can be so that you give yourself time, okay? And you take yourself to the day. So establish a morning routine. Also, what we've talked about in the past is think about a personal mission statement, all right? Something everyone knows about mission statements for businesses. Think about a personal mission statement for you, okay? Something that fills you full of enthusiasm for what you're doing, why you're going to work. And that really takes it away from not just paying the bills, not paying for the car, paying for the mortgage, whatever it is. It really gives you a sense of drive and purpose, which is amazingly important in all of our lives. So you come up with a personal mission statement. Again, you can find this stuff on Google. Look for mission statements for businesses. Apply that to your personal life. Okay? That then becomes your mantra. That can be your positive affirmation. Define a measurable goal. I'm going to help you do that. But really, nothing was ever great unless at some point you doubted your ability to achieve it. Make sure it scares the shit out of you. Regardless of what's going on at the moment, let's start casting our lines forward and start reeling it in. Establish a buddy-buddy system. Really important at the moment. I can't push this enough. You know, everyone's working in their own little silos. And even if you think you're doing great, just think about the people around you. Okay? We should have at least one person, at least one, that we can confide in emotionally, and we can confide in on a professional basis as well. All right? So that should be at least one person in your network, in your organization that you can confide in. We called it the buddy system. Okay? We used to work in four-man teams. We would never break down to any less than two. All right? Use that ethos. Build your daily success strategy. Put some framework into your day, okay? Because if you have no plan, before you know it, distractions will pull you here, there, and everywhere, all right? So define what you do. I like to work for 45 minutes, have 15 minutes off, okay, or 10 minutes. Get myself a drink, take a walk away from the desk, okay? That helps me work a lot more efficiently than slogging it out to the end and just draining myself, okay? Gratitude, and Tim talked about it. This is a game changer for me. It's been scientifically proven to work, okay? Scientifically proven, but Gratitude is about positivity. So imagine if it's been scientifically proven to work, obviously negativity does as well. What we do every night is we go around the dinner table. My fiance is a young lad, he's only 11 years old. We all say, what's your best three things that have happened today? Now, sometimes I really regret actually initiating this within the table a few years ago. But I tell you now, once you go through those three things and really focus on the great things that have happened today, it changes your mindset straight away. Stops you looking at all the negative, okay? And honestly, I've been to countries where kids are sucking drinking water from puddles in the street. We have so much to be grateful for. You turn on the tap, you've got drinking water, we shower in it, we flush the toilet with it. You know what I mean? There's so much we can be grateful for. So no way can you not, you should be able to find 100 things. Visualization. Visualize where you want to be. Once you've got that goal, and I talk about meditation, the game changer. Okay, once you've got that goal, what you want to achieve, you want to put yourself there as if you've actually achieved it. Okay? Paint the picture in your mind. Add emotion to it. How does it affect your life? Think about all the people around you, the people you love. Put them in the situation as if you've already been there. You've already achieved it. And believe me, that will draw you towards that. Okay? That plants it so far into the subconscious that you will naturally take left and right turns towards your goal without even thinking about it. Okay, I'm going to push out a couple of links today. First of all, I'm going to give you these slides in a PDF format. Secondly, I want you to download this 14-day free trial of Mine and Fox's app. Okay, free trial, just download it, because I can't tell you how important physical exercise is. Okay, and really, look, the most important project is you. All right, so once you start investing this in your mind, your body, and your nutrition, the return on investment is amazing and it affects everything in your life. And this is the surprise I've got for you. I'm going to send Tim a link as well. And this is for my 28-day free goal setting masterclass. So all you do is fill out the form, you press submit, and then basically I will walk you through 28 days of building habits, positive affirmations, everything we've talked about in this 28-day masterclass. Okay? And that will, by 28 days, help you to understand how process combats negativity. Day in, day out, okay? Now, I know your goals are probably bigger than 28 days' time, but I'm going to get you to first base, all right? I want to prove to you, and if you stick with me and follow process and discipline, you will achieve it. And once you see how it works, it's contagious, all right? You'll never want to stop with it, okay? So sign up for the 28-day masterclass. Evening routine, Tim also talks about that as well. It's so important. Sleep is so important. It's the best weapon in your arsenal. Okay, a lot of people, you know, I used to be like, oh, I only need 4 hours, thinking I was this amazing master and I was superhuman. It's ridiculous thinking, okay? Sleep is so important. And when you don't get enough, that's when the negativity really starts to amplify. All right, and also I would suggest you buy this book, because that is the process in 2014, 2015, when I came back and I wanted to make those changes to my mindset, which then affected my whole life, okay? And the change in me from that month 1 to month 2, I didn't even recognize myself on a positive level. It was amazing. Cut out all the alcohol, all the things that weren't serving me, okay, and I'm really focused on me. And the things that are listed in this book that I ask you to do, okay, I still do to this day, and it has changed my life. And one last thing about books, I'm very proud to announce that in 2 days' time, my first fiction book comes out, okay? I was a little unsure about fiction initially, but then I understood that I could still put through my positive messaging and also identifying some real global issues through storytelling. The book is based on a fictional character called Alex Abbott, who sounds a little bit like me, and his life is a little bit like me. So read between the lines. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. It comes out on 12th on Thursday, and get yourself a copy. Thanks for listening today. I hope you've taken something from it. But even if you haven't, please wait for the links to come to you, and then sign up for the Goal Setting Masterclass. Sign up for the Battle Ready 360 14-day free app. And if you don't do any of those, just please have a look at the slides and look how you can implement some of this stuff to improve you. You are the most important project.
Excellent, Ollie. Thank you very much for that. Let me see if I can get you on the screen as well. There you are. Yeah, a lot of what you said really sort of resonated with me as well. I got some very good tips from there. And when you said that we are wired to be negative, I think that's absolutely right. You look at the way the media report things, the news report things. Even as when we were younger, you know, the way schools sort of taught. I mean, schools are a lot better now; they're a lot more positive. But our brain is wired to say you can't do that. And really, over the summer, you mentioned sleep. I struggled with sleep over the summer, and that sort of inner voice got louder than my actual conscious thinking, and was sort of telling me these things. Your surgery is going to make you go blind. You're going to die. You're not going to have this. Your family's going to end up on the street. And I'm thinking, just shut up. But it was because I wasn't sleeping properly. I felt that my actual conscious brain was not strong enough to silence that sort of, you know, that old inner voice. So sleep is very important. Meditation as well. I've always known about meditation, but I thought it was all sort of kumbaya stuff. You'll see behind me, I have a chaise longue in my office, which is, and I stick headphones on, and I do short guided meditation every morning now. And it's that, as you said, Ollie, it's that kind of space to give your brain time to just think about nothing, just focus on yourself rather than all these bombarded thoughts that you have coming around all the time. So it's very, very, very important. Are there any questions for Ollie? If you want to stick them in the chat. There's a question here coming from Karen Green. Let me read this. I'm currently writing a program for school pupils. Excellent. To develop a growth mindset. I'm basing some of this on Ollie's book, Battle Ready, and using him as a role model for young people. Fantastic. Wow. What advice would Ollie give his teenage self, knowing what he knows now?
First of all, I commend you for doing that, because I think the more we can do for our children. I talked about gratitude there, around the dinner table. And I think that just that in itself, William's only 11 now, and he's the one that instigates that now. Initially, he was like, "Oh, this is boring, it's rubbish," but he's the one now that comes in and I sit there going, "Oh God, I hope he doesn't ask me what my 3 best things are because I've had a bad day." But he's the one, and I think it's such a powerful thing when we actually get our kids to really start investing in this growth mindset. God, I would have told myself a whole number of things looking back, but really, the main thing for me was about believing in myself. I think as a kid, also that to follow process. Follow process and believe in myself, I think, are the 2 main things, because I just see that, we neglect what's going on up here, and really we need to really understand that mind and body are one. It's not 2 separate entities, and the sooner we understand that, the more we can sort of understand how we work as humans. But I'm not, one thing about when I was young, I don't know if I'd have listened, but certainly, I'd say a number of things: slow down, believe in yourself, and follow process.
Excellent. That's very good. And I mean, I do work with school kids as well, mentoring, and I get the most sort of satisfaction out of working with the disadvantaged ones, the ones who haven't got the lawyer parents or the high flying parents, and the main thing we work on is self-belief. And actually sort of teaching them that, you might have been in and out of foster homes, you might have had this, and this, but you're still here. You're more resilient than most people will ever be in their lives. And then, oh, actually, yeah, okay. And that's very rewarding. So that's excellent advice, Ollie. Any other questions? I think we might have time for one more before we get to 11. No. Okay, well that concludes the webinar. Thank you very much for joining in. Ollie, thank you very much for your time as well. It's been a very informative webinar. We'll send around the links later on. There will be a recording of this webinar and the slides as well in case you missed any of it. So I shall end the broadcast. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Cheers, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks.